Hey everybody, on this episode of the AFTERBUZZ TV Emerald City After Show, we're breaking down Season 1, Episode 10, No Place Like Home. That's right, it is the season finale. Could it be the series finale? We'll figure out next.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Ooh, just a little moody Emerald City music.
I like it. I was like, wait, this is not exactly what I was expecting, but I like it.
That's right, we're just getting a little freaky-deek. Hey everybody, welcome to the Emerald City After Show here on AFTERBUZZ TV. Of course, as we've been doing all season, breaking down every episode this season of Emerald City, right here on NBC, Friday nights. Of course, there was a big season finale, so we're going to get into it in this episode. One Hero's Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Gotta get my gram game up. I'm happy with Jackie.
Well, you have a lot of good food stuff.
That's all I do. It's terrible.
But you never bring any of it.
Nope, I only eat it.
He's like, here, this is the yummy thing I ate. But then again, I'm guilty though too. I do food posts, but I do ones of how you can make it yourself.
And I'm too lazy to do that. I just like, this is where I went somewhere to eat. And Kari's is much more better for you than anything I post.
Probably, but you know, yours look like they taste good. Well, my name is Kari Lane. You guys can find me online on Twitter and Instagram at Kari D Lane. That's Karidlane.
And of course, folks, you can like us on Facebook. Give us those 5 stars on iTunes. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And of course, Kari's got the chat up and ready. I know you folks are already in there chattering away, sharing your thoughts about the series and this episode in particular. So please continue to do so. But even after this after show is over, it doesn't have to mean you have to stop sharing your opinions, because you can comment. As Kari Lane, I'm gonna pull a Kari Lane right here.
Comment down below.
Yeah, that's right. There you go.
Oh, come on. Have you never made a YouTube video and done the hey, comment down below?
People don't want to put me. People don't like to see me on camera. So that's.
But
so,
you're here.
I know.
So see,
but they lost a bet. AFTERBUZZ lost a bet. That's why they put me on. So breaking down the season finale, episode 10, No Place Like Home. Before we break down the episode overall, just your initial impression of this whole season. Are you happy where this ended?
I feel it's a good setup for definitely more. I think you have that enough was answered, but you're still I'm still confused on a lot of points. Or maybe not confused, it's more so wait, does this mean this, and can we get more? But it makes me want to see where we go next.
I guess I'm torn because for me, I would like to see more, only because I feel like we didn't get enough this season.
Yeah. It's a good setup for more. Maybe that would be a thing where maybe some people, season 1 was hit or miss for some, but it would be a good setup for season 2.
I feel like that in this day and age, though, it is tough to have such a first season that is such setup to get you to, and not even quite to the places that we know these characters are at in the stories that we've read. So there's still some setup and logistics.
But they changed a lot too.
Yeah,
and actually, for how magic it is, we'll get to it later. I wanted more out of that moment.
There was many moments I wanted more out of. But we start at the beginning of this episode with back in the prisoner abject. There, we do find out who this flayed man is. We don't find out who he is quite first. We see him struggling to get skin.
Yes, his skin hanging in the tree.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that was so gross and disturbing. I was sitting there as he's putting the piece, and he's cutting his skin up to easier, manageable pieces to put on. How many of you guys were cringing? I just was And then later when he's sitting up on the ledge and the bones cracking and the wings pop out, and I was like, well, I wasn't expecting that.
Because initially he wants to kill our Munchkin guy that had taken him, whose wife's trapped in there. And she says, don't kill him because he can help you get him out, and it can help get you out. To which he did nothing to help get him out.
Well, she could have maybe lied just to save her man's life.
But.
Well, and the other thing is, some people were saying dragon, but when the wings popped out, they looked more feathered to me, though there are feathered dragons. But I don't know, did they look feathered to you, or more reptilian skin?
They look more reptilian skin to me. But
we only got the one shot where they pop out, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Because everything else is a silhouette later.
And I don't know if it's if that was the only thing that changed him, because we only see you
That's
only see
the other
silhouette.
thing too.
We have no idea what is he, just a guy with wings flying around, or is he indeed transformed into some huge kind of beast?
Right.
I guess we'd have to find out in a second season.
That'll be in season 2.
We'll see. So while that's happening, though, we find out though back in the Emerald City, there's a lot of hubbub going around. Amon's trying to figure out. Of course, the coolest thing, my favorite thing, is just the monkey cameras.
Oh, you were so happy.
I love those monkey drones. Looking at finding out that witches are marching on Emerald City. And then I like that the witches take control of the drones and start sending them all flying around.
But do we ever see the witches specifically go, like, call them to them or, like, send them? We just know that they've been... Because I was waiting for, like, come to me, like, fly, my pretties.
Yes.
So I was waiting for a witch moment to be like, come here, we're going to control you, instead of just they've gone haywire and we assume it's the witches.
I mean, I guess since they went and spelt up Ozma in the sky, I feel like I guess we know who's behind all this.
Okay, that's true. That's what they went and did, but I kind of wanted like somebody. Yeah.
Still, man, those monkey cameras though, man, probably my favorite piece of tech from this whole entire series. I just like that is such a cool right there, like the promise of that and the way they interpreted that from the book to this. That I just wish I felt. Yes, I wish I felt more excitement about how they interpreted a lot of the other stuff in the series too.
Yes, there was other things where you're just like, well, like it didn't really go to its full potential, but those were definitely a moment where you're like, yes. Someone made a good point. Ms. Powell family said Dorothy did end up bringing the beast forever, because technically she started the chain reaction that had. It'd definitely be a chain reaction moment, because I don't think she didn't directly make it happen, but
she did.
What she started in events made it the prisoner abject thing break, in terms of everybody got to go free, including that person, whoever that is.
Yeah, because she cut him down at the end of last episode.
I thought he was in the tree.
Yeah, but then she cut him off. Yeah, she cut so and then she didn't take him out.
I think I forgot that she did that.
Yeah, so
I thought he was like part of the tree.
Yeah, he was suspended, and then she cut him out. Dropped
Dorothy,
him from the rope.
gosh, why you gotta let
so
the guy go?
So I guess in a sense that she did right. She did bring the beast forever. So we see, of course, Ozma taking Emerald City, and then we get to see, of course, the wizard at the base camp. He's all, peace out, I'm leaving.
Yes. He's like, everything. I like that. He's like, I'm gonna leave Emerald City and go.
Well, I mean, because I guess he was on because he was the city.
He still had the battle, yeah.
Yeah, but because at the end of the last episode, he was just there on the cliffside about to get shot, and whenever we took off when the Eternal Giant showed up. So I guess he was easily able to get back out of the city and take out with his troops.
Yep.
Nobody decided they wanted to kill the wizard anymore. They're like, we're too freaked out that this Eternal Giant's here. But he shows up at his base camp and reunites with Dorothy, and not a very happy reunion.
No. And then. Am I like totally blanking on the moment? Because we saw it in a previously next time of Dorothy walking with the giant. Was that in the last episode?
That was last episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm like, did I see that scene?
Yeah, right at the end of it, we see her walking.
Oh, is it
through the
really
field.
short?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I felt like that could have been a longer moment then. Because I was like, oh, I feel like that was almost only just like the trailer for next time. But okay, they had that moment, and then.
Because I still don't understand, because the witch in Prisoner Abject, she's the one that animates and brings the Eternal Giants to life.
So we don't know how she got them moving. Unless I thought she was able to give some of her power to Dorothy somehow.
Maybe.
I don't know how, or at least like teach her something. I don't know. And then an kind of unanswered question, but speaking of going to the city of Ev, of what happened to our princess or queen. You know?
Yeah, she's still there in Jane's workshop.
And did we ever establish, does she know she's a robot? I don't think she knew 100%.
No. That's why she always wore the masks.
Yeah, but if she's told to always wear the mask, I don't think she knew herself that she's a robot.
No, I think that's why she was told to do that, so she never realized that she was never aging at all.
Which I'm extremely, extremely disappointed that that's the only reason she wore a mask.
Hey, you know, that robot skin, man, doesn't age.
I mean, that was kind of cool. In basic concept of like completely irrelevant of the previous versions of Oz, I'm okay with well, she's a robot, they wear a mask so nobody knows that she's not aging. Okay, fine. But I'm like, but I love the head thing of the old movie where she takes off the head and it's just scary.
Yeah.
And they've removed that completely, so I'm a little bit like, oh.
Well, I mean...
But I wanted to see more from her. That's a moment where I'm like, we don't get any of her in this, and I'm okay. I'm like, I'm fine with her being a robot, and even her and Jack hanging out together. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, that is for a moment for you that was frustrating, and me still frustrated that we never really get to see a true Scarecrow, a true Cowardly Lion, and a true Tin Man.
He had an axe at the end.
Great.
Tin Man had Jack has an axe. You didn't notice that?
I did.
I love that he's going through camp with an axe as a murderer. I'm like, whoa, Tin Man went dark.
He did.
But I'm like, all right, he's on a mission. I'm okay with it. But then I noticed, I'm like, I like that he has the axe.
Yeah. All right.
You know?
We get it. I guess we do see at least one of the earlier questions of the story, though, is when Ozma and West take back Emerald City, the debate is, how do you want to rule? And because Ozma is not really big on West just killing a soldier just outright for no reason.
The person when they first walked in?
Yes.
Well, she has you're one of the guards, so you're going to die. So then she has okay, well, wait, hold on. But then he was going to kill her anyways, right after. That would be my, yeah, he proved himself that you're dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. Sky, I hope this is true, because if you're saying this is not true, we'll be disappointed. Sky Patterson in the chat says, breaking news, Warner Brothers / New Line Cinema are developing a horror suspense fantasy drama film set in the wonderful land of Oz. # not a musical, # full horror. Ooh, I am so down for that.
Interesting.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Because this Return to Oz was a scarier movie.
Very true.
Which was cool. I think it's one of those cult classic ones. I don't think commercially it did very well, but it's one of those, like, those who've seen it are like, it's really cool.
Yeah. I don't know if I actually have never seen the whole thing through. So I should go check that out. Mm-hmm. I always remember the poster, though. The great Drew Struzan poster for that. Though.
But West is okay with killing the guards and all she's been through, too, so I don't mind. But I liked Ozma's sense of justice. Of like, well, hold on, let's listen to him and stuff. I actually thought he had died and West brought him back for a moment to get information and then, like, let him be dead again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that would have been cool too. Like, cool magic of, like, you're dead, but hold on, let me, like, your brain still is working for a little bit after, like,
Yeah.
let me get information, and then poof, like, let the body fall back down. I'm like, oh, no, not that either.
We do see, though,
Sorry, someone did exactly what I said. Can we jump ahead to what she does with the lion?
Oh, I was just about to talk about that.
Okay.
Yes.
Jared, where'd it go? Jared in the chat. I was hoping that the lion, quote unquote, would become an actual lion when Ozma cast her spell. 100% agree with you. I was so disappointed.
Yeah.
And then also it changed. The metal part of the lower part was gone and hands suddenly were there. So that's like two different lion heads. Because when he comes out, it's just the head, and then there's like this metal part of the lower mouth and no paws. But then when they put the head back on him, there's no metal part, so you see his face. And there's the paws suddenly on his shoulder. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, that's different. And then I was hoping she's like, be the beast you really are. I'm like, oh, she's going to turn him into a lion. She's going to turn him into a lion. No,
See, again.
I'm like, it's a show about magic. And like, there's magic. And the witches are like, we're going to do magic. And I'm like, really?
I mean, I guess the only reason I could think why not is that it's, at least if you want to try to make him look like a realistic lion, just trying to have that as an ongoing character in your series could get kind of expensive.
No, it maybe be like one turn to a lion, and then somehow he gets brought back. Like I wouldn't necessarily think of him having to stay a lion forever.
Oh, why not though?
It'd be kind of cool though.
Yeah, he should until at least some point where he's able to get that curse lifted off of him. At some point, he kind of earns the right to turn back into human at some point.
And I did really enjoy Ozma's sense of justice of that. Of I'm not going to kill your family, but I'm going to make them not know you.
Yeah,
that was good.
So that was good, but I agree. I'm with everybody on that. I wanted because it seemed like that was what that scene was leading up to when everybody starts getting around and they're hissing and they're chanting.
Right.
You're like, he's going to transform. He's going to transform. Mm-hmm. That's what's going to happen. And then nope. And it was great having Mito in here last week talking about that. And he said like, with this, we got to find out what his cowardly act was. It didn't. It just didn't. It didn't settle. It didn't sell it enough for me. I was just like,
I think that's not an offense to our guest, Mito. Is the writing of it for sure. Of I wanted a little bit more explanation because it's I would have wanted it so spelled out for me that I would have no doubt. Like the wizard was going to kill my family unless I killed the king and queen or something like that. Like super plain and simple. Because otherwise I'm like, could you guys have left? Just go to a new town? Yeah. There's other cities, we've learned. And then you don't have to murder people. So then I'm like, well...
Yeah, it just... I felt like I wasn't satisfied with that reveal. I didn't feel like it quite it didn't yield the promise that I had hoped it was. And then when he doesn't get turned into an actual lion, and then we just see him at the end of the episode, just kind of basically just skulking out through Oz.
Yeah.
That was it. I was like,
and then sorry, momentary rewind because it is the part that I'm like, Aaron in the chat did point out maybe Lady Ev can change heads next season since she took a bullet to the head. And then Renji said, yeah, I thought she was going to get a new head after she was shot. So that's a possibility too.
Although, as we know by the end of the episode, Jane is a prisoner of the Beast forever. So it's going to be a while before
somebody
she can
else
get back to
over
her
it,
workshop
yes.
And rebuild the Queen of Ev to look like she does. So
Yeah.
at least temporarily, she is kind of off campus, I think.
Yeah. Renji said, referring to lion, I thought the same thing, at least, or a humanoid lion.
Yeah, just something would have been cooler.
And we've done enough like special effects. I mean, it is television, so sometimes they don't have as much of a budget as a movie, obviously. But you could have done something.
Yeah, it's just I'd be curious. I would love to be able to talk to the creators behind this and decide why they decided not to embrace the more fantastical parts of those three characters. I mean, certainly, I guess with Jack, we get half his body being kind of made of tin or armor or whatever,
Yeah.
but we never really get to see a full-blown Tin Man, a full-blown Cowardly Lion, a full-blown Scarecrow.
He was definitely still alive after, right?
Yeah, he's just can't move because he's lost a lot of his limbs.
Now, do you think he is, like he said, he's already dead, so he can't die? I thought he was a little bit more like it is a machine that, like, maybe you won't die like a human dies, but you could stop. Like, it felt like this machine was whirling his heart or whatever it is that keeps him running. So if that stops, yes, he would die. So it's like he'd have to keep something functioning. Like, it'd be like a computer. Like, eventually, if it's not running, you're quote-unquote dead. And then somebody pointed out, like, Sky Patterson said, so surprised that, he killed Lady Ev. Total accident. He's a bad shot. Never used a gun before, so...
No, and the wizard saw it coming and moved Lady Ev in the way. So, I mean, Jack
And she's not really dead, because she's a robot, too.
True. I mean, but at the moment,
Though
Jack
technically he's a cyborg, she's an android.
Very
if
true.
you want to be very specific, because he still has human parts.
That's true.
Oh, and someone... Oh, I forget who, and I'm sorry, but like a few episodes ago when Lady Ev and Jack are in the forest together, someone was like, I was waiting for her to say, like, I'm a robot, too. You were totally right. Totally right.
But she didn't know that she was.
She didn't know. But
So.
it was, in a way, a prediction that came true that I hadn't really thought, like, oh, yeah, she's a robot, too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'm so underwhelmed by so much of this episode.
Really?
It disappointed me.
Yeah.
So, of course, then we go. Jack, we're talking about Jack a lot. He does go, as Kari's so excited about to see him with the axe because he had a bone to pick with the wizard. Wants to get revenge for the apparent murder of Lady Ev. And starts kicking butt. We see
He's
Jack.
so good. Such a good fighter.
Yes.
Suddenly.
Just when the
suddenly.
plot demands it, he can kick some butt.
Well, you could go with, his intention was more intense. So.
He's just rage fueled.
Yeah.
There you go. And gets the wizard spends a lot of this episode being cowered into near death. And this is the first instance of that where he's just about to get the axe. Jane stops him, and Jane, we learn, has a much bigger role in this than we really initially thought.
I like that surprise.
Yeah, they reveal that Jane is actually Dorothy's mother and not Karen.
Yeah. And it makes sense of, I gave you to Karen to get you out of Oz for safety.
Yeah.
I could buy it. I go, okay.
All right.
I mean, it makes Jane's character even more interesting of like, oh, wait, there's more layers? What?
But did you get frustrated that we never really had to get a chance between her and Dorothy actually having a conversation talking about some of those points?
Yeah, I didn't like the send-off at the end. I was like, I love you so much, but I don't need to talk to you at all.
Yeah. It's like, tell me more about this. What's going on? Nope, just get in this tunnel and go back.
It's hard because you want more from her as a mother, but she's simply at this point a birth mother that, like, she gave birth to her, and maybe was with her when she was a small child.
But she did send her away to keep her safe. So
yeah,
I
like the tattoo reasoning. The explanation was good.
Yeah. Although it's still weird, like tattooing your young infants. That seems weird to me
people
too.
People tattoo their dogs too of identification.
They're dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not like
Okay. In my world, my dogs are my babies, so I'm like, sure, that makes sense.
All right.
But I mean, if and in Oz, like, it's a world where, you know, if maybe she had gotten separated that way, it would be a way. What other way would you know them? Just in case, like, as an adult, they look different.
You know, a mother always knows her child.
Well, you could also I roll my eyes.
That's all right.
For the people listening.
I heard that all the way from here.
Well, because you could say plenty of parents pierce their kids' ears when they're infants. So tattoo is same idea, but
should have done a nose piercing. That's what they should have done. No, all right.
So I would have wanted a little bit more conversation. It just didn't feel like Jane wanted to connect with her much. Just more like, I just need to protect you, so I need to get you out of here.
Yeah, but that just made it
It
frustrating
felt
to me.
rushed.
It did. Very rushed. I felt like there was a conversation to be had there that would have at least filled it, especially because this whole
she
journey
could have said a little bit more.
Yeah, because this whole episode,
One or two
it's all
more
about
lines.
Dorothy's kind of journey.
Yeah.
This whole season has been trying to figure out like who she really is.
Yes.
So to have this moment to be with her birth mother and to learn a little bit, I guess you don't have to show all your cards, but at least give some kind of resolution to that, because Dorothy does go back to our plane of existence with still a lot of questions to be answered.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
You're just like, what?
And all right, so we see the wizard. Basically, he starts probably this episode at his most powerful. Well, just in this episode, but at a position of power, and then pretty much he's on a steep decline for the rest of the episode in terms of his authority and his power, to where he's just being led back to Emerald City with his wig taken off.
I did like that.
Yes, just
good way to humiliate him.
Taken up to the tube. He's going to wreck it rather than get sent back, and then he gets killed by Jane.
I don't understand Dorothy 100% trusting this guy. He's proven time again he lies to her. And then she's still like, okay, so you're going to run this machine the way I want, though it benefits you not at all, except for I get out of your way. But who cares now?
Yeah.
So it's like, what? No.
Well, and his reasoning is because he tries to use that with why do you want to go back, Dorothy? Because I'm nobody there. There's nothing there for me. What's so great about your life over there? You're nobody too. Mm-hmm. So I never felt like Dorothy was. I didn't feel
Dorothy was a nobody.
No, I mean she seemed to be a respected
loving,
nurse.
like her the people who raised her, Auntie Em and her uncle. What is her? I'm like
Uncle Owen.
I think so.
Or no, that's Star Wars.
I'm all wait,
Uncle
no.
Owen and Beru.
But I mean, like, she had a loving family that she grew up with. She had a job that she liked. She seemed to do really well at it. That it's like she wasn't a nobody.
Yeah, I mean, it's like not everybody has to be, some CEO or some, big authority figure. But she was respected in her job. So
I mean, I liked his explanation of well, that's why I don't want to go back. So then she really knows. But still, do you think he's actually dead? Because some people in the chat were like, I don't know if he's really dead. Oh, Henry, thank you, chat room. Oh yeah, no, I think he's dead.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
I was wondering if at the end there, because the way they were playing it up, that when Jane puts her in, I was worried that Jane was going to get shot or run through, like the wizard was going to pop up and still be alive and kill Jane, like on the other side. And so Dorothy has to watch her mother die.
Oh, I'm glad they didn't do that.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, he's going to do it. I don't think to do it.
I was going to say, actually, speaking of getting shot, we kind of skipped the big battle thing.
Yes.
A little bit.
We'll jump
Unless
back
we were coming back. Okay.
Yeah. But so are you happy with where the wizard ended the season?
I'm happy that he died. I mean, so many people wanted him dead that...
Yeah.
I mean, well, the only problem is it's such a private affair that, nobody really knows. Mm-hmm. It would have been almost better for him to have a public execution.
Or
I know that sounds horrible. It's
and not even at least, but at least die publicly where everybody saw it.
Exactly, because it seemed like the people wanted him dead, and so it's just going to be whispers then, or we haven't seen him in so long, and there's no real credible people to verify it, so it's just going to be he disappeared.
Yeah.
Maybe it will be rumors that he's still alive out there. He might come back. And it'd be So yeah, I think it works because we all kind of wanted him dead for a while now. But then again, it's hard because it's well, you're just a horrible, creepy person, but then again, he did kill a lot of people.
Did you want to see his end come by Jane, or would you rather have seen it by one of the witches, north or west? Where you truly get to see these people that are...
I'm happy that Jane did it.
Are you? I mean, it felt like that's such a big thing was between science and magic that I was hoping that it would have been...
I see.
Some confrontation among... a direct confrontation between one of the witches.
Yes, but Jane, of their long history of how much she probably despises him, and she saved her daughter.
Yeah.
By shooting him. Some other people are like, no, he's just unconscious. No, I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Oof. Yeah.
Because Dorothy is a doctor, or a nurse. So
she knows.
She knows her dead bodies.
So as Kari has mentioned, people were talking about the chat. The big whole thing that leads to probably the one act where you thought, like, man, the wizard really can't come back from this, even though they ended up being okay in the end, was all of Glinda's girls being massacred by the wizard's men. Starting off with young Sophie.
Well, first how they arrived was.
Cool.
That was cool visual. I
Yeah.
like the swarm, and then Dorothy's like, whoa, wait, hold on, and was able to do the gauntlets to make her essentially the eye of the storm, the safety spot. And
There you
then the visual of seeing Glinda was super cool. Of
I
just
thought
the
that was
like
nicely interpreted.
visual illusion of like, you can see me now, and their little discussion and everything. And then once that goes away, but that was kind of cool of Sylvie destroying the.
Man, but I felt like that conversation. I felt like did Sylvie's, because I felt like Dorothy had zero sway with her at that moment at all.
Oh, I think it's almost worse because it's almost like Sylvie doesn't know Dorothy and either. Like another character that goes, I don't know who you are. So that it seems like it's gone. Like I almost would have wanted to have like a hiccup or like a flicker of Sylvie like looking up at her of like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there wasn't any
Something.
kind of recognition. Yeah.
Yeah, just like a little bit. And then
Dorothy does get the Eternal Giants to be able to kind of crush their temple in Emerald City to kind of.
that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it kind of, and that kind of basically just destroyed the.
That broke.
Yes.
I actually thought in that moment that all the young witches would be free from Glinda. Like it somehow held her sway over them. Like her magic was disrupted, and so in destroying the temple, like the witches were like, oh wow, because they seemed to be coming out of a daze. So I was like, oh good, they're free. Not really. But then yeah, they all get shot, and then I was like, wait a minute, it doesn't work that way because only a witch can kill a witch. Oh wait, cool, it doesn't work that way. But you still get shot and it hurts.
Yeah, and it's still, when you see the wizard kill a little girl, it's like, man, this guy.
That was rough. That went like, ooh, this show went a little bit dark. Other moment of dark. Because, I mean, Jack killing the soldiers, it sucks, but you go, okay, it's war. But then you're like, the wizard killing a child. You're like, what?
Yeah, it was at that point, like,
Yes.
he is not long for the show then.
Yes.
If you're killing a child, you've crossed the line. Alive or not. And then we get to see Dorothy again for our second time that the wizard's put in a kind of a cowering position when she kind of pursues him, get rid of all his guards, and is going to kill him unless he calls everything off.
That was good. I did like that of whoosh, gone, and then double too. She's like boop, open.
Yes.
You're like okay. Like there were moments that definitely were. You're like yes, like you're happy with what they chose. But then there's it was a roller coaster of so many like this is awesome, this is great, I love your choice. Wait, this is horrible. Why didn't we do this? I want more. Oh, this is really... Yeah, I felt like that was how the season finale was for me.
And I'm curious because Ozma, as we're told, is that she's got part, like the Witch of the East powers are kind of like what Ozma drank and then also the gauntlets that Dorothy has. So it's like you need the two of them all together to kind of create that ultimate package, so to speak.
Yes.
So, because I feel like Ozma, I mean, that's still pretty awesome magic to make your entire family just forget who you are.
Yes. I think she might have some more inherent magic too.
Maybe.
Yeah, and then the semi cliche visual of Ozma, kind of jumping on Ozma a bit of Witch of the East and North, black and white of like kind of the quote unquote good and bad. Though at this point, definitely Glinda is not necessarily like the good witch.
No, well, because they have that moment where they reunite. They're in the throne room, and then Glinda finds out, oh wait, this tip is really Ozma.
Yeah.
And she doesn't
really seem happy about it. She's like, really, you?
Yeah, it's like magic and reason can now rule over Oz, and Glinda's like, no, magic's going to be the only thing. And I felt this conversation was really truncated as well too, because the West kind of like speaks her plea, like my tongue is sure.
I'm not on my drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do this with me, and I felt like Glinda. Still, even at the end, like I felt like that was such a quick reversal for her because I feel like Glinda, she is not comfortable with Ozma being. She really wants to be.
Oh yeah, no, I think Glinda. This one, I'm okay with Wes' journey in like literally and figuratively of you know, I mean, sure, she had the sway of the drugs, and like that definitely, you know, altered her thinking. She was completely depressed, obviously, but now she's kind of found more of a purpose of like, I liked my king. The king is gone, but now there's the, you know, the king's daughter, and I know what I need to do. So I think she has a little bit more direction. But Glinda already had direction. Her direction was like, I'm gonna take over everything. Ah, crap, somebody got in my way. So she's like, like she's definitely like the cold, icy queen that you're like, which queen that is.
Yeah, because there's a moment where she looks at Tip and it's like, and she has almost that smirk on her face, like you, and that's
like really, yeah,
you're gonna do it?
Yeah, she's not nice about it.
So we also, as it leads up to Dorothy and Frank trying to activate the machine that will take Dorothy and Frank home.
Oh, this is a good question. Side note: Emerald City says Ozma has East spells and Dorothy has East gauntlets. So can they kill a witch alone or together? As in, like, can Ozma kill another witch? Can Dorothy technically kill a witch? But technically, Dorothy, they've established earlier that she's not a witch, but after using the gauntlets, does that essentially make her one? Because that was before she had the gauntlets.
True.
So after having them, does that inherently change your title? You're a witch now?
Can you only be a witch if you're born a witch, or
right.
can you learn to be a witch?
I think we talked about that way back when, too, of... I think this show is... They made it sound more that witches had to be born, but... If that's true, how can Dorothy use the gauntlets? Which we had no answer to that question.
No, that's true.
We asked. That's another question. We're like, then how can she use them?
Yeah.
So I want to say there's more to it, which we've already said that there's a lot more to Oz and we're in Kansas or whatever, and Dorothy and all of this that we don't know. So you're just like, there's too much more that we don't know.
Yeah, we
Too
get
many questions.
Lots of scenes of the Beast Forever flying towards the Emerald City.
Okay, interesting moment. And what do you guys think? Ms. Powell family says, it was sad when Ozma sees Tip in the crown. She had to sacrifice her self-image for the crown. I thought it's one of those I still see who I am moment. I didn't necessarily think it was she had to throw it away. But it kind of was, in terms of we already had the scene with her and the witches that were there like, you're not Ozma. So...
Yeah, I still don't know for sure how to read that scene. Because I can see it being read either way.
Yeah.
I feel like if there were a second season, I feel like that I would, if she has the ability to kind of control it.
Yeah. Aaron says Dorothy the merciful and Ozma the stern, together the most merciful and stern. That's true. Oh, okay. Amanda in the chat said maybe that's what separates cardinal witches from other witches. That's a good point. Like maybe, Dorothy wouldn't be a cardinal witch the way West and North are, but she could be a witch. And then this is, one of those interesting discussions. But DJ Loftus says Tip was a lie. Ozma was always Ozma deep down. True, but if that's your identity that you have always known and someone says what you know yourself to be is a lie, be really hard to adjust to that.
Yeah, that's true.
So I feel Tip and Ozma are one and the same. And technically she's only Ozma by name and she was a baby. So she had no self-identity at that point. So it's really interesting and tricky discussion on that. And it's cool that a television show kind of addressed those issues. Because it's like, this is what you were born. This is what you're raised as. This is how you should feel. And like how she had Tip... I was going to say, this is interesting on pronouns, of like how that person feels about all the outside forces saying what you're supposed to be like.
Yeah.
Because most of all this, Tip never, ever, and Tip/Ozma never 100% gets to do everything all by themselves. It's always, this is what you need to do, and like somebody always telling them what to do.
Which it very much seems like that's what the relationship that West says to North.
Yeah.
It's going to be the two of us. Like, we're always meant to be advising.
Yeah, we're going to be the advisors. We're always going to be here telling you what to do.
They're like, that sounds great. Thanks, guys.
Yes.
So we got lots of scenes of the beasts flying over our Tin Woodsman, our Scarecrow, our Cowardly Lion on the way to Emerald City. Dorothy gets sent back home. We see the beast coming towards Ozma, Glinda, and West. And then Dorothy wakes up back in Kansas. And it seems like time didn't pass as quickly there as it did in Oz. So
Do we know how long she was gone, possibly in Oz?
Was it like, I think it was 10 hours? Was that what they were saying? It seemed like, because she came back and Karen was still down there in the shelter, still bleeding and stuff. Yeah, I don't know how long she was in Oz, but at least real time gone.
Well, yeah, Oz was days.
Yeah.
You know, there were go and sleep. I mean, that's the only way we could judge how long it was of when do the characters sleep.
A couple weeks, maybe?
Yeah, it was a long time, actually. So time could be different in Oz.
But Karen,
it's like in Fillory for the magicians.
I'm glad that she was still alive, because it seemed like she came all the way back and she's just dead. And she can't answer any of her questions.
Or she's dying, and it's like, I thought that was the moment, and then nope, next thing you know, she's in the hospital.
Yeah. So we see Dorothy waking up back in Kansas. She talks to her aunt, and Karen and I were talking a little bit about this too. That we see the aunt's got dirty fingers, much like the witches of the Westwood when they're doing that. So
that was very suspicious.
Yes, an illusion is Dorothy's aunt a witch that has just been there to kind of look over her.
That's a possibility.
Or
I hadn't even thought of it that way.
Yeah. Or is it just kind of a nod to the movie where it's like she's just recognizing touchstones that are very similar to Oz, that just kind of reminds her of Oz, but it's not really so concrete related. It's more just a memory. Like, oh, that looks very similar to something I encountered while I was in Oz.
Well, even like Toto. Oh, wait, you're not Toto.
Which, speaking of that, like Toto...
Which I was like, wait, how'd Toto get back?
Yeah, like Toto was just like an afterthought for the majority of this episode. And then all of a sudden just shows up back there with Oz, again with Lucas / Rowan back in Kansas.
And he's like, that's where I thought Dorothy isn't in Kansas or really Oz, but she's in a mental as in like inside her head prison. And Lucas was able to reach her the way she went into his head of like, here, I'm here to help you to break out of the spell.
Yeah.
That was the thought I had too.
But we end it with Lucas saying, guess what, your mom's a prisoner of the beast forever. And
you're the only one who can stop it. Why does someone outside of Oz need to be the only one who can stop it? But I guess it is one of those, like, you're not from here, and thus nobody from here can do anything, so you're inherently more special than you thought.
Yeah, and how did Jane know, like, oh, wait, I have to get this guy. I've got to get Rowan. He's the one guy that I could send back, and everything's going to be good. Like, a lot of questions to be answered.
And at this point, Rowan, how did he get to Jane, too? He was still tied up.
Yeah. So lots of questions to be answered, and sadly, we don't know. I mean, ratings are up for the finale, so they were up, but that, who knows the idea if they're actually going to get renewed for a second season.
Don't know
I'm
yet.
guessing that the ratings haven't been that strong. The rest, I don't know. I feel like this is definitely a bubble leaning towards not being picked up again. So, but we'll find out in May at the upfronts if it's going to get another second season.
I don't know.
Sadly,
someone said, okay, a couple people thought maybe Dorothy's aunt is the South Witch.
that could be it. That'd be interesting, maybe.
Maybe, but I thought she was still in Oz because Glinda was like, she's still making witches.
Yeah.
So how could they be in our world and then getting over?
The aunt's getting busy, man.
I know the aunt can travel back and forth.
That's true. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Too
many questions.
Too many questions, folks. But I wish we could get all the answers. It'd be great to get somebody in from the show to be able to answer a lot of these burning questions.
Get the showrunner.
Be
like, hey.
It would be cool to reach out to Sean Cassidy and just ask him a bunch of questions. I wonder if how much you'd answer. You're like, well, second season we'll answer some of these. That could be a frustrating interview. I don't know. But folks, that's gonna do it for this Emerald City After Show. This is done for the season. We did it, Kari. I know you didn't think we could do it, but we did it.
I didn't have any doubts. You maybe did.
I maybe did. We'd love to talk about it a little bit more, but thanks everybody for joining us all season long with all your passionate thoughts and comments about the show. We really appreciated that. As always, folks, you can like us on Facebook. Give us those 5 stars on iTunes. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks everybody for hopping in the chat. But you can also, even after the show's over, comment in the chat below. I know Kari Lane likes to enjoy those.
I do like reading your guys' comments as long as they're not horrible.
There you go. And if you want to comment to us about your thoughts about the show, Kari Lane, where can they find you?
Yes, you can find me online on Twitter and Instagram at Kari D Lane. That's KARIDLANE.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie. You can also catch Kari Lane and myself again at 10 p.m. Pacific time doing Box Office Breakdown. And Kari Lane doing Time After Time at 11 o'clock here on AfterBuzz TV as well. So, folks, thanks so much for joining us this season. We'll see you around the AfterBuzz universe.
Yes.
Right here on AfterBuzz TV.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos,
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.